obviously I've been talking about Ronna McDaniel, but it looks like the straw that broke the camel's back was the reporting done by Jennifer Van Laar. Apparently there was $3.1 million in private jet services since 2017, $1.3 million in limousine and chauffeur services, $17.1 million in donor mementos, and all of this is fine typically if you're winning. Because the RNC has not been winning, then they really started to look at these financial documents, and from what I'm hearing, the former president was not too happy when the report came out. He was loyal to her, but he said it's time for her to go.
Well, the former president and a lot of his allies were trying to squeeze her out. She has faced an intense pressure campaign. You know, and we have talked in the past about how Trump had repeatedly pressured Ronna to cancel the primary debates because he wasn't going to be in them, and reportedly the primaries themselves, and she resisted. She said, look, I don't have the authority to cancel the actual primaries because they are run by each and every state.
What does this mean, though, in the middle of this presidential election, that the RNC chair is stepping down?
Switching horses.
Right. Is it because Democrats we've heard this time and time again, Democrats do a better job with early voting, with the ballot harvesting, and they want to see changes in the Republican Party before the election. But who will replace her?
Well, they are still talking about election integrity at the RNC, which, going forward, is very helpful to both parties.
I think the most fascinating thing is coming up in Michigan. It's got to be really hurt for not to be ousted right before Michigan, which is tomorrow. But I think the most intriguing thing from that report was really what's going on with Governor Whitmer. First story in the New York Times today. It's up to Whitmer to save Michigan for Joe Biden because of his support for Israel, which is wavering, because he has alienated himself from the Palestinian, Muslim, as well as the Arab community all at once. He won by 200,000 votes, but now there's a huge push by Bernie Sanders' group and a member of the squad to write none of the above for the primary. This could be extremely embarrassing in a state he simply has to have, and I'm wondering if that's going to affect the big picture, which is support of Israel in a desperate attempt to get the Arab community back in his column and try to win Michigan and this primary. So that to me is more intriguing than Haley versus Trump. It's Biden versus nobody.
Well, she's getting out Super Tuesday. After Super Tuesday, Nikki Haley says she's staying in until Super Tuesday.
Right.
The Koch brothers, they fund the Americans for Prosperity. They just decided to pull their funding for a presidential campaign of Nikki Haley.
And what they're doing is they're saying that they've looked at the last 3 elections where Trump has been involved and Republicans have lost, and they're terrified that Joe Biden and the Democrats will win the House and the Senate. So they are putting their money into House and Senate runs. If they can't win the presidency, they want to make sure that they hold at least one branch.
When you look at the RCP average, though, the president is up by 2 points.
It's amazing.
3 points right now. When you look at all the polls together, he's beating Joe Biden, which is the argument of some of the people that challenged Donald Trump that he couldn't win. But right now, looking at the polling right now, he is beating him.
Nikki Haley is really helping Democrats more than anybody else because her campaign has turned into Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, and Chris Christie, who are all great candidates, you know, and they all have their positives. But all they did was attack the president personally, said he can't win. He's not the same guy. They're the Democratic arguments. And it's not me saying that. Governor Gavin Newsom says she's our best surrogate. Yeah. So, and also, I think Governor Haley, who I think is a really good candidate too, but different, she says, well, Donald Trump lost 40% of the vote. I say, no, you went out and won it, just like Hillary Clinton won a lot of percentage of vote against Barack Obama. Give yourself credit there. Just say, listen, I won 40% of the vote. It's not that Donald Trump lost it. The question is, how many of those people can Donald Trump convert when he becomes the only candidate?
Well, in South Carolina, we heard a lot of people say, we're voting for Nikki Haley, but if she doesn't win, we're going to vote for Trump. We're Republicans through and through.
There was an interesting, I read this morning, I think it was CNN did an exit poll, and they found that 9 out of 10 of the people who voted in South Carolina voted to support Donald Trump. You know, of his voters, 9 out of 10 to support him. However, of the Nikki Haley voters, 4 out of 10 voted for her to stop him. So there's the real worry with, the establishment Republicans is the fact that there could be a gigantic number of Republicans who simply do not vote.
That's a great point. But I just go back. I think Donald Trump won South Carolina by 10 last time, or 4, and he had a much harder race. He had 4 or 5 people going against him. With Little Marco and Lion Ted, you thought if you're supporting these guys, there's no way you're going to intend. What was his nickname for Jeb Bush?
Low energy.
Low energy. Everyone's like, well, if you support those guys, you'll never support Trump in the general. That wasn't an issue this time in the general, and I just think we're forgetting how bruising it is and personal it is during the primary, but typically people unite.
And don't forget, that particular primary ran through May. You know, Ted Cruz did not get out until May, which is about
never endorsed the presidency.
That's why this year is completely different. I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this. Exactly, where the people who are running against the top person are getting out this early. We haven't seen that in a long time.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.